Hi, Boldly Free Live Summit. My name is Pamela Strum, and thank you so much, Catherine, for bringing us together. It is a joy, and I love the name of this summit. So, some of you know me already, and I have I do energy work. I'm a clear conduit, or I hold a space for people in their healing journey through my modalities, grid light healing and light years and Akashic records, as well as being a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist. And I'm sure, like so many of you in this group, that you have a bag full of healing and energy tools that, the list goes on. So that's certainly me. I've been doing this for decades. Crystal Lila. Yes, my dear friend. Hello. So, today's a little different, and I am presenting something that was inspired by a person named Marina Jacobi, who I follow, and I love tuning in with her because she shows sacred geometry. And she said something that we all know that I'm presenting, which is a creation equation of one plus one equals three. And she was talking about it as a choice point to have a positive outcome. So she was talking about this a few weeks ago, but it is tapping at me to bring forth. And I've been working with my clients using this concept in addition to, wishing to integrate what's already there that's come through. So, such as being from source point in your heart, and living from your heart, in addition to all of the sacred geometry in the healing modalities that I utilize. And sacred geometry, just as a background before I really get into this subject, is simply a container for energy. It gives energy form. Without form, you would be just returning back to source, right? Because energy is always there, it's not destroyed. So you're taking energy, putting form to it, and this is something that we create within ourselves on an energetic level, like our toroidal energy field, which is what I work with in my healing modalities. Some of you know this toy of mine that I use to show a toroidal energy field with sort of you in the middle of that, all the way going through in a very third dimensional expression. Architects use sacred geometry, and it's talked about and it's common. So I drew some pictures to help me get along with conveying my message. So can you see this? Is this, I don't know if this is turned backwards, but this notion of 1 and 1 equals 3 is an equation of creation. So it is, it can touch upon positive and negative polarity. And a lot of us know this equation already when we're talking about babies, right? The father and the mother and the baby. There's a trinity relationship there. But that energy goes also into anything that we decide to create. And in this situation of what I'm sharing today, it has to do with how you create and manifest your own life. So I've said this again and again and again. We all have superpowers, and we might not realize that simply for many reasons that a half an hour isn't enough time to go into. But we have superpowers. We're super duper powerful, and we have source energy, our unique frequency of source within us in our heart space. And we infuse our entire lives with that frequency. But every moment of our lives, there's only the now moment. So all that exists right now is my moment right here with all of you. There is no past, there is no future, there's only the now moment. And I'm going to get into this a little bit more very shortly. Nicole, I have Alicia here, I have Tammy here. Thank you, very powerful ladies, for lending your support to me. And for anyone in a future timeline, this is a very activating. I went into my own Akashic records yesterday to really clarify conveying this message. And I was given so much support, and there is activating potential within here. So I hope by sharing this with you that it wakes up within you a furtherance of your power of manifestation, in addition to activating your sacred geometry of your design, so you can step into your full potential through what is humanly in your body as a DNA expression of your humanness, which is sacred, in addition to your entire energy field. So let me begin a little bit. So in this moment, the aspects of it is polarity, because I'm talking about positive and negative choices, but it also always comes down to frequency, because 1 + 1, positive and negative, equals the manifestation. And the manifestation can be as positive or negative based upon the choice that you make in the now moment. So the duality comes in, an aspect of duality comes in because sometimes Source has granted us this capacity to play in this realm by perceiving ourselves as separate from Source. When we really truly think that we're separate from Source and we have the emotions from that, that's where we tend to experience this as a dualistic expression of negativity, as opposed to potential of play and creation. So this is simply a formula that allows you to create into a manifestation. Now, a collection of these, before I go even further, is of these manifestation bubbles, is you can apply it to the moment. You can apply it to your day, you can apply it to the week, you can apply it to the year. And I'm offering this now because of what is happening now on the planet. And I'm hearing a lot of people fear and separation and a dualistic expression. So in this expression of New Earth, bringing it back to a potential for unity so that you experience that in your life. So every single choice, keep choosing the positive expression. You keep choosing the positive expression so that the manifestation ends up being a positive manifestation. The reason you keep choosing the positive expression, when you bring that positive expression into your heart space, and you then infuse that with your own frequency, and from the choice that you create, you call in all of the other frequencies that match that manifestation point. So it's like a calling card, it's a beacon. So whether those resources happen to be people, whether it happens to be frequencies that show up in a third dimensional, like tools or a healing, or whether it shows up in a very energetic expression. If you choose a negative, as we are free to play here, it's only in a third dimensional expression where you're separate from Source that there is judgment around that. Because the reality is that we are given free will from Source and we play with that. So sometimes if you notice your calling card that your feelings are telling you that you don't feel well in your choices, that is a clue to you to make a different choice. And we have been conditioned to believe we don't have the power to make choices, and that's not true. I've gotten into the matrix many times. You can go look at my YouTube channel to hear me talk about the matrix, and that's not what this is about. You are always connected to Source. So first, critically, to experience what you wish to manifest, go into your heart space. And that is something that I say it seems like every single talk I do, I'm talking about going into the heart space. But, okay. So in the 0 point, I have put a heart. Whoop. You might notice this graph from school. So I've taken what is a literal third dimensional expression with streams of energy, and this would be a third dimensional matrix to put it out in a linear fashion. you all know that the matrix isn't necessarily this linear expression. It is in motion. And I'm talking about an organic matrix, has motion. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Ramina. How are you? Thank you. Oh, I have these beautiful, beautiful people here. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I wrote this down. I wrote this part down when I was streaming in the information because I'm going to get a little wordy, but stay with me. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to explain it. So what streamed in as you choose from the now moment and to constantly choose the positive expression, because in the now moment from your choice, you emit a frequency that pulls in more frequency of choices to manifest creation. This concept of our choices of manifestation in dualistic structure is what creates an artificial matrix of a third dimensional time space continuum. So this is like the artificial matrix of a time space continuum. I have a little something more to say about this that's streamed in. So with the manifestation, there's always only the now moment. Our intention of manifestation creates the time-space continuum because it's in the duality where we conceive the notion of time and space. Now, this is where I'm talking to you, Catherine, because of the New Earth and Boldly Free Summit. The New Earth manifestation, it's instant manifestation when you're in your heart space. Sorry, as I'm trying to point, you can see I'm pointing backwards. Okay, it's instant manifestation in the heart space. So when we are as a group at that point, because New Earth already exists, if you can conceive of a manifestation, and this is where it's critical that we use our imagination, this is where it's critical that we pull in and utilize our ingenuity and positive point potentials from our heart, because when we do that, it is a beacon calling card to others, and we go on a journey of unifying together and creating that positive point potential of unity that is exactly what brings New Earth into what is obvious. New Earth exists already, but what happens as more and more and more of us step into the potential of this New Earth and that positive choice point, we end up dissolving the duality of the time-space continuum. Now, the time-space continuum, from my experience, is nothing for which we judge. It's what has allowed us to slow down as opposed to moving, let's say, at the speed of light, which is very rapid and instant manifestation. So we relish the experiences within our realm that we're creating and within our dimension. So within our humanness, it's fun. Like, quite honestly, I'm so excited to have a body. And I say that not to bypass suffering, because I've had my fair share. And really, truly suffering, that's a judgment. Maybe I can call it experiences that I have put into this little negative box down here. Now, in this negative box, most of us waffle somewhere with a positive and negative, and we might go up and down. We might go up and down within the day. Keep in mind, there's only the now moment. So in your practice, because it's all a practice and training yourself, you have in the moment to choose your experience, and your experience can potentially be to decide you're not going to react to something. Your experience can be your choice to be appreciative of the moment. So what happens is sometimes we carry this luggage around with us of what we consider the past or a projection into a future. We're worried about the future. Oh my goodness, I'm not working right now. I don't have money. And we create this lack story of a future that hasn't even occurred yet, because all that exists is the now moment. So, and then we pump ourselves with a fear, and then we actually call in that piece rather than dropping into our heart space and taking steps and taking action in our heart space in the now moment to create our experience. So even if there's been what we think of as past, because we have created a time space continuum of what we might look at as evidence. Oh, this is how it works. This is how we're told life works. This is how it goes. And it could be a positive or negative expression of manifestation. Positive expression, I'm talking here about a dualistic judgment point as opposed to a unification polarity point. Okay, getting a little wordy. I will give examples. So within the matrix, we lock it within the matrix of either being this like negative, positive, positive, negative, 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 positive, positive. And that's an artificial matrix because this is all that there is. In any given moment, when you operate in your heart space and you keep practicing dropping into your heart. So let's say life happens. You hear that there's a war going on. Some country's invaded another country, for example. Panic, panic, and all these stories because like frequencies of stories come dropping into you. Drop into your heart space and you'll realize it's all an illusion. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about because you all know this. You all have seen, I'm sure, photographs or even in your own experience out hiking of a beautiful mountain with a lake in front of it, and the lake is reflected in the mountain is reflected in the lake water, and it's gorgeous. And what you notice maybe in that moment is that the mountain is inverted in the imagery of the lake. Now let's say the wind blows and the water ripples and the lake, the mountain in the lake's reflection blurs or it changes shape, or a duck lands in the water and it ripples and it distorts the reflection, the inversion of the mountain, or any reason that an ice freezes it over and there's no longer that image of the mountain. The mountain's still there. The mountain is its glorious, beautiful self, but the inversion and the reflection is what changes. So I'm saying this to you to give you a tangible metaphor where your heart and your heart space is the mountain. It's always there. It's available to you. You are always connected to source. It's only been through the divine grace of creation energy that we play within the negative. We've been allowed to do that. But the source is only there. It's the illusion, which I'm going to say is what you project outside of yourself, is the metaphor of the reflection of the mountain in the water. That changes. That is what is distorted very, very, very easily. It's not real. What's real is the energy and the frequency of the source within you in every single solitary moment of your existence. So you can add a lot of story to the inversion and the illusion, but bringing yourself back into your heart is what is so stabilizing and brings you to a positive potential regardless of any story of past creations, of past glomminess of an artificial matrix structure. So let me just see if on the back of these notes, Catherine, talk about illusion of time. If I run out of time, I'll just make another video and tag it in the group and, put it on my YouTube channel or in the group. So all that exists is in the now moment. This is a joyous, joyous, joyous announcement. You all know this because anything that is being fed to you from an outside, inverted, artificial structure, an illusion. It's an illusion. So why give that your attention? Choose in the moment, in this very precise moment, what you wish to experience. Now, this can be easier said than done. But before talking about that, I want to share with you another image of what happens when we join together and in every moment keep choosing the positive expression. And when we are in the heart point, it's the observer perspective. You actually, in making your choice in the moment, don't have to do anything. In that heart space observer perspective, your source point, it is beautiful neutrality. So whoever said you have to do? We've been told that. That's part of the negative structure that keeps us in fear, doubt, judgment, division, density, duality, absence of light, and separation. Boy, that's exhausting just saying that. But so it's normal to waffle. There's no judgment in waffling. Look at it that you're simply having experiences in your humanness. And then when you go into the positive structure, you have ascension. Because why does that happen? Why am I even talking about ascension now? Well, I'll tell you why. Because in the negative, there is separation. And you're separated from the power of your heart. And you start to believe that you're not an expression of source energy, but you are. So you have the power to change your life like that. Boom, your decision. It takes practice, but I promise you, as you practice, and with all of us moving in this direction, holding more light, including Gaia herself and this earthly realm, it's like more rapid. We're collapsing that time-space continuum. We're allowing ourselves to catch up to what's already created as a new earth expression and a higher dimensional frequency expression. Okay? So on this side is unity, the new earth, freedom, sovereignty. You realize, oh my goodness, not only am I a source expression, but so is every other being on this realm, and all sentient life. All of life is an expression of source. And when you get into that energy, and as I said at the very beginning, you pull more of that energy to you, and you fill this expression with positive choice points, you create a collapse of the time-space continuum. And by doing that, you step out of a dualistic nature and you create unity and you create the new earth. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. So she's love your expression of heart's peace and being in the now. Yes. And Catherine, and slow down in order to experience the contrast of choice. Absolutely. And thank you for fantastic tangible metaphor. Yes. So we're choosing to slow down. Why? Because it's so incredibly amazing to be a human. It's phenomenal. Now, I'm not bypassing the expressions that we interpret as challenging or negative or horrific even, or what's happened in this realm. It's gotten grotesque. But we've been allowed to go there. We've been allowed to go there. That's how powerful this all is. But it's like a bow and arrow. The farther you sling it back, which we have gone to the extremes of pulling that arrow back and back, is how far it flies forward. Boom! Which is one of the expressions of the reasons why we're on a trajectory of ascension of the new earth expression, because we've gone so far where the very nature in the negative to negative polarization expression, where it's never to be negative to negative, it's always negative to positive magnetic expression. We can zoom our emotions. We're saying, I'm done playing with this duality. Thank you very much. I now choose this expression. It's a choice point, which brings me to another Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful image. And I'm crossing into sacred geometry now. And I feel like I'm rushing because there's so much I want to share. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready for this one? Do you all know the yin yang symbol? Okay, as you go into this positive to positive, this is the realm where keep choosing the positive, keep choosing the positive. You're not beating yourself up for any of the negative expressions. It's simply experience. You hold more light and you create space. And in holding more light and creating space, it's like a calling card to other like energies, and you unify with the light. So we are at the extremes. We've gone to the extremes of the absence of light, and they define each other because of the dualistic nature. I actually drew this out here. So let me go back to my drawing. The dualistic nature. You can't have one without the other. It is a unified expression of creation, a unified expression of creation that contains both positive and negative, not duality, but polarization. Do I have time? I'm going to take a real quick detour. Do you know what singing magnets are? Where they sing, you can throw them in the air and they sing. If you have positive, 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 or negative, negative, it doesn't work. Within the same expression, you have an attraction of positive, negative, a balance point. This is the point of observation. This is the point of non-duality. And as you make positive and positive choices and you become the observer and you detach, you can stay more in that balanced in-between point and create that enormous unification of the new world expression. So, for those of you who have worked with me, you know I work with sacred geometry in healing. What ends up happening in our sacred geometry is that we're taught in school, which is why I just was like bleh with this, a very artificial dimensional grid system. It is in flow. It flows. This is our grid. And as you're holding in light, it naturally has a golden ratio, which is what brings the energy in perfect proportion, not to bypass your body. It brings it into this center point so you can receive it in your divine expression through your vertical pillar, going down, anchoring it into Gaia herself. But then you have the power potential to blast it out into the full expression, because we always, a lot of people think they're this and the suffering happens. But when you start to realize you're this section in here and this section in here, you're in a flow. Guess what shape this is? This is infinity. This is infinity looping. Yes, you are infinity looping in motion. When you stay in flow and you are detached, which is this middle point here, you hold that observer neutral perspective, which then brings in compassion, and it brings in honor and respect and these energies of the heart expression. You then are at a true point of living your life from a source perspective. It is a practice. So very quickly, oh shoot, Catherine. Okay, here I go. Solutions for manifestation. Okay, for a positive manifestation. I have it down here. Please, please, please. I'm not saying no mainstream media or social media. Obviously, I'm on social media. There's a lot of pros to it, but please and protect and guard your children, because what that has done for us, the people who control that structure and who control a lot of things going on the planet, have created a negative structure. Because when we are in fear, doubt, judgment, division, density, duality, absence of light, and separation, we give our power away and we say, oh, you make choices for me. I can't feel for myself or experience for myself or create for myself or imagine for myself. You must be right. And you give your power away. You give your source away. So be aware of that, and please guard your children, because there's a lot that's going on there. I have so many things. Stay tuned, because I have so much I'm doing on that. Gratitude and blessing. As soon as I feel in a funk, I start blessing things and express gratitude right off the bat. I love this so much. You get that beautiful mad scientist energy. I am a mad scientist, Catherine. Um, yes, the expression of hearts, please. Yes, I know I am. That's partially because I wished I could go on for this for like another half hour. Okay, breathe, which I'm not doing right now. Breathing is like brilliant. As soon as I feel someone coming at me or I sense an energy like meh, I realize I'm not breathing. As soon as I make a choice, that positive choice to breathe, I relax. It reminds me to come into my heart and I remember to start making choices because who's source and who gets to make those choices, right? For my life, I'm source. For your life, you're source. And we join together to create the new earth potential. It's so exciting. We are always unified. Going out in nature, I'm always one for hugging trees. I have becoming the observer. Practice being, the more you practice this center observer point, the easier it gets to do. Like I can remind myself a little more readily. And I'm going to give you an exercise for those of you who are new to this. I first heard this from someone named Deb Farina, Adrian Walker Hall, also Marina Jacobi. Maybe start out 4 times a day, set your clock, let your alarm go off to simply tune into yourself and tune into yourself. You can do this every time you go to the bathroom. You're taking a break as it is. It doesn't matter how busy you are. Take a break, tune in. Where's my energy today? Because your emotions are the magnet. And then you start thinking a certain way. And then you start, right? So tune in. Where's your vibe? Because that's what you're going to pull into your experience. And that's what you're going to create as your expression. And right now, we're looking for that positive on the planet, right? So then you can increase the time that you do that. So then maybe you get to the point where you're setting your clock, right? I'm using time on a spot, collapsing a time-space continuum, but use it to your advantage for positive and reminding yourself every hour to tune in. So I like to do this very easily, simply when I go to the bathroom because I avoid being a slave to my clock. Speaking of which, I'm past time. My name is Pamela Strum. Please join my email list at princetonhealinghouse.com. You can find me on YouTube as Pamela Strum, and you can find me on Instagram as Pamela__ Strum. Catherine, I'm asking permission to come into the group. I had an activation that I've run out of time, surprise, surprise with me, and it is called Activation Heart Diamond Merkaba Power Grid. Everyone, your heart space, woohoo! Next up, please move on over for the last speaker for today is Aleha Sunstar, and she's talking about cultivating New Earth leadership practices. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I will get back to your comments as soon as I close out. And bye, everybody. I'm so excited to be with you. Bye. We're together.